All right, looks like we are live. What is going on, Predators? Travis here from Apex Predator Outdoors. I'm here with Dean. Today, joining us shortly here, hopefully, will be Ryan Lange of the Buck Commander here. So he's going to be joining us, and we're going to be just talking, just kind of shooting the breeze, hopefully talking about some hunting conversations, some interesting hunts that he's been on and stuff like that. Today, this stream is brought to you by me, by Apex Predator Outdoors. We have a whole lineup of gear that we've got on the website. Scrolling across the bottom of the screen down here, we've got our anchor rings here that you can use to make sure you have a consistent anchor every time you draw, whether you are an index shooter, a thumb shooter. You can make sure that you get a consistent draw every time using this right here. We've also got a whole bunch of different target pins and different colors and styles and shapes and everything. So yeah, guys, and like I say, if you want to check out this gear and everything, go check it out at apod.company.site. And today you can use the code SMASH for 10% off of your order, of any order. So thanks, guys, for watching the channel today. And Dean, what is going on today, buddy?
Hey, buddy, it was a good weekend, man. We had a great drop yesterday. It was a lot of fun. Just kind of having Chris on and talking about a couple adventures and how he felt with his first harvest. It's always a good time to shoot the shit with your buddies.
Yeah, that's always a cool thing too, man. Whenever you have your first harvest, because it's a totally like a new experience. The first time that you go and you shoot something, you see that arrow fly or shoot that bullet, and there's that instant adrenaline that sets in. And yeah, man, that's like you see that stuff on people posting videos on YouTube and stuff, and that shaking. And a lot of people that haven't done it, they gotta understand that it's just like that pure adrenaline, and you're just like running on all cylinders. So
yeah. And I think especially when you get that perfect shot, it's just that sound, when you just blast through that chest wall, and there's just unmistakable, and you just know when that shot goes off that it was just perfect.
It's like flack. Yeah, you hear that thump. Like, oh.
That was perfect.
Oh man.
And then that adrenaline dump after, you're right, is just amazing. Mm-hmm. So
I started hunting whitetail a long time ago with my granddad. He had I think it was about 50 acres, like 48 and 8 or something like that, in Victoria, or near Victoria, in a little town called Yoakum. And it was pretty wide open land, but he had this area where it's basically like a kind of little forested area that ran in the back of the property, and that's where we'd always go hunting. And all the deer out there were just little tiny things, but it was really great to work on scent control, work on being quiet and all that stuff as a beginner hunter, because I mean, those deer are always just on edge. All the Texas deer, for what I know, are just like always on edge, man. They're super wiry, and so it was really good practice, and I started hunting with a rifle. And my granddad, before he passed away, actually gifted me that rifle, handed it down to me, which was nice. But it was a really cool experience because, like, I still remember the first time I shot a deer with it. It was just like I shot. It was funny because I was just going for does. We are just trying to manage because there's so many doe out there, and had one lined up. It is about right about 50 yards or so. Maybe more about 65 yards, but I had it lined up in the sights and boom, and shot it. It was a 30-06, and so it was a weird one. It was a pump action 30-06. I did a video about it a couple of years ago. Then I racked another round in there, and I put the scope back up there, and I was looking, and I was like, man, where'd that deer go? It just disappeared. And like there was like the other deer were running around like crazy. I'm like, what the hell happened? I was like, oh, well, so I saw another one there, so I lined up on that one, boom, shot it, and it dropped right there. And then I put another one in it just to, make sure it was like laying on the ground running, and I just shot it again, put it out of its misery real quick. Well, I started got down from there, and my son Carson was with me when he was much younger, and we started walking up there to the deer, and we got about probably like 20 yards from the deer that we could see out in the open there. And turns out I could see the other one now. And it was basically what had happened is there was like a little like dry creek bed behind it. And I shot that first one at 30-06, just launched that little doe in the creek bed. It just like disappeared back there from the blind. I couldn't see it for some reason. I guess because the trees were, I was like looking down on it like that, but I couldn't see it. Just disappeared, And,
yeah.
So then my granddad was all pissed off because it was a managed land thing where you can only shoot so many deer or whatever. And so he's all pissed. He's like, damn it, Bubba. I thought I told you just shoot one. I'm sorry, I didn't see it. I thought I did just shoot one, I thought I completely missed that first shot,
it's great. I think reflecting, on our first hunts, it really is either, I don't know. I think you either love it or you're kind of like, whatever. I
Mm,
remember my first one was with a buddy of mine, and it it was not what I was expecting, but I'm glad it happened the way that it did. Because we got up early, we was at a ranch. They got, of course, in Texas you put feeders up, and
mm,
so we had a feeder. It's exactly, like 110 yards. We're in the blinds early in the morning, right? Sun's coming up. It's just that portion of it, see God come alive. I think is really cool to be out that early and just start hearing everything
yeah.
kind of wake up and get the day started is just awesome. Anyway, if you're an outdoorsman,
Mm,
and it was a fence around the feeder. Some does came in and my buddy's like, okay, dude, like there's going to be a buck, like he's going to come in, just kind of stay calm, relax, breathe, and just take a good ethical shot. There's no reason to rush. And sure enough, here comes this 8 point. It jumps over the fence, and was feeding broadside, racked it at a 30-30, racked it, fired, squeezed off a shot, perfect placement, and it just immediately dropped. And that was it. I was in, like, after that, and then of course
yeah.
got into duck hunting and everything else. But and I also, taking my son, to your point, taking my son for the first time to Michigan, and you can't shoot rifled rounds there. You got to use slugs or muzzle loader or
Mm,
and so I took him up, and the last day that we were there, we decided we'd sit together in a blind, and it was like the floodgates open, like there was like 9 bucks that came. It was the craziest thing, and I'm like, say, yeah, it was almost like I was repeating exactly what I'd heard the first time. Take your time, pick one out, follow the one, make a good ethical shot, right? And so he lines it up and just drills this buck, and none of the other ones left. They just kind of stood there like, oh my god, what
they're
literally
like,
just
what the
happened?
hell?
Yeah, what the hell has happened? And he's like, holy shit, you got to take another one. And so I squeezed off around, dropped another one. So within literally probably a minute and a half, both of us dropped 2 bucks, and his expression was the best. I mean, he was like, "Oh my god, this is like the best father-son trip ever." He was like so excited, and that's just and he was it. He was like ready to rock and roll, and that was all it took. He was like, "I'm down. This is gonna be awesome." And so to pass that on, to the next generation, I think is just one. It's cool to see, and to get somebody else to kind of come into the hunting fold, if you will,
Yep.
is awesome.
Yeah, that's been my experience. I've tried that with my boys. One of them, he loves to go. His thing more is he likes to go fishing. He likes to go down to Galveston and just do some, casting out in the surf and stuff like that. We also have 2 retention ditches or bayous in the back of our neighborhood back there, and he's always back there like catching turtles and catching fish. And whenever we went on lockdown and everything, that was our big thing is we just like, well, he can't really go anywhere, can't fly, can't do this, can't do that. So I was like, let's just go jacking around in the back there. And so we went and we were doing a lot of snake hunting, and we were like cleaning and eating water moccasins and stuff like that. Man, it was a blast. We had a good time.
What those taste like?
So a water moccasin, honestly, let's see. Sorry, I was saying. Mike says I shot 2 white-tailed does out of Dean's window once.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But anyways,
So
yeah,
that guy, that is the guy we bought the house from. And so
nice.
there's a perfect lane. Hi, Mike, by the way. Thanks for chiming in. There's a perfect lane from our living room window down to where I put a feeder. And it's
Nice.
probably 25 yards max. So
That's
what he
perfect.
had here, he would just lift the window up and just launch one down, just drill them down this little opening. It's brilliant.
That's awesome, man. But yeah, so the snake, man, it tastes like best way to describe it I've used is it's got the texture of fish, but the flavor of chicken. So it's kind of flaky. It's real soft and tender, but it especially if you cook it right, But yeah, it definitely has a flavor of chicken. That's when they say they taste like chicken. It really does. So,
Huh. Did you
um,
grill it
just
or fry it?
so what we ended up doing is we were doing a lot of like we have a fire pit in our backyard, and we were doing a lot of like just hanging out with the neighbors out there, grilling and stuff like that. And so what we ended up doing is just grabbing some foil. We had the snake and everything wrapped up in there. The boys wanted to. I let them cook it however they wanted to, but we throw a little bit of Cajun seasoning on it and some soy sauce, wrap it up in the foil, and we just throw it on the hot coals at the fire. And yeah, it came out really good.
Hmm.
You'd open up that tin foil after letting it sit there for about 5 or 6 minutes, and it was just steaming. And like I said, they could pull the back strap off, and it was like a big long spaghetti noodle of meat, and they just like slurp it down,
That's awesome.
So
That's
yeah,
awesome.
snakes have a back strap, man. So
Yeah.
hey, real quick, I just wanted for everybody watching, we're waiting to see if Ryan Lang is going to get on. Has he responded to your text yet, Dean?
He has not yet. No.
Okay, he's a busy guy. Hopefully, he'll jump on here soon. So
Oh yeah, he said having an issue and that he's sorry. So
okay,
hopefully he'll figure out the issue and bounce on. So
okay.
technology is great, right?
Oh yeah, and you gotta love it.
You gotta love it. Hey, so the other thing that we can talk about too. Speaking of, I got the saddle up. You had some good experience with your saddle too, right? Talk about that a little bit. I run uh, the tethered system, but I use the wild steps instead of sticks. And so, touch base on kind of what you feel about your experience with that.
Yeah, so I've like I said, I've hunted from saddle a couple times now. I actually switched over because the closest area to me that I can go whitetail hunting on any kind of public land is the Sam Houston National Forest. It's about an hour and 20 minutes north of me, and I've been out there a couple times at different areas. They have a couple of archery only hunting areas over there, and the first time I ever went out there, I did a climbing stand, and oh dear God, that thing was heavy. Weighed like 35 pounds. I mean, it was just a beast. And I was like, okay, like after the stand weighing 35 pounds, plus I got my bow and all the other stuff that comes with that, and some snacks for the day. I was hiking in about like 65 pounds or something like that. I mean, it was just like uncomfortable and brutal. And so that's why I decided, I was like, okay, I got to change something up here. So I sold that on like a local sales site, like OfferUp. And then I went and I bought, I was looking for saddles. And again, like I said, I've always been a real budget hunter where I can't spend, $600 on a whole setup just to go saddle hunting. You know what I mean? Like I was pushing it back whenever I was doing the climbing stand at like 100 and something bucks, 120 bucks. And so I was looking for a budget one that's going to still be good quality. And one of the things I did in a bunch of research, there's a lot of companies out there that do saddles these days, but I ended up with the trophy line saddles because they're probably one of the cheaper ones on the market, and they're a little bit heavier than some of them out there, but they've been doing like saddle hunting, I mean, since like sit drags and stuff like that. I mean, since way back in the day. And some of the people that, from what I understand, there's some of the people that formed the company actually used to do like arborist stuff as well. So I mean, they've been doing saddle stuff for just decades. And so I was like, what, I'm gonna give it a try. And first one I had was a little heavy. It was had some things that I really wish I could have changed with it. And so I think I think it was right about the time that Tethered came out with their first saddles. I'd just gotten this one in, and I hunted with it for a while, and it had a web like strap for the bridge, which was really easy to adjust and stuff like that. But it made it to where like basically that was my belt coming into. I could just like really easy, like one handed cinch that thing up, and that was my belt to help me get inside. But it did lack some adjustability, and then like I said, once I tightened it up to use it as a belt, it had this big flap hanging over here, so it left a lot to be desired. So then recently I upgraded. I did a video on this too. I upgraded to the Covert from them, and it's basically kind of more in line with what you see with the tethered saddles. It's much lighter. It's got all the Cobra buckles on it and stuff like that. So they snap and unsnap around the legs. They're adjustable on the waist, and all that stuff. And it's super lightweight. I can't remember the exact weight on it, but it's much lighter weight. Has, from what I can see, all the same features as like Tether's newest saddles. But it's like, I think like almost $50 cheaper. It's like,
Mm.
2/3 the price,
Mhm.
or 3/4 the price. But anyways, it's a great saddle. I've been up in it a couple times, just kind of testing. I haven't really hunted out of the new one yet. I did hunt out of the old one, and that's been a struggle to me trying to figure out the sticks too. And so I first bought the Hawk Helium sticks, and those worked just fine. But what ended up happening was, like I say, I was like, okay, these are just too heavy. They're too long. I mean, the things are like, each one of them's like 2 feet long. I got 3 of these sticks. And so what I ended up doing was chopping it about a good 9 inches off of each of my sticks. And then I ended up tying I have some military static line that I've done. My dad bought a whole pallet of like weird military shit one time. And they're like, oh, by the way, there's a bunch of military static lines that come with it. The things they have on the parachutes whenever they're jumping out of planes and stuff.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh yeah, that's fine, it's whatever, just scan it to me. Well, they show up with an 18-wheeler and they're unloading a whole pallet full of these military static lines too. And he's like, oh shit, what am I going to do with this? So I've made targets out of those things, like stuff them inside of targets, because they're made out of like real heavy duty nylon. I've used them as toe straps to like dig trees out of the ground, tree roots out of the ground. And of course, like I say, what I did is I tied them in knots and I use those as like an extra rung on my steps. And it works really
Almost like an aider.
Exactly. It's like
Yeah.
adding. So I've got my sticks that are about I can't remember, 15 inches or so, or 14 inches, and then I've got a loop that's about that long, about another 12 inches off of each one of them, and that static line weighs like next to nothing. So by the way, if you see him jump, I don't know if you can see here in the studio, but if you see him jump down there and I don't catch it, just let me know. But anyways, I tied that on the bottom of there so I can actually get up really easy. About 20 feet. I don't really want to go any higher than like 20 feet up there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still getting used
Is
to it and
that?
everything.
Yeah. So I'm relatively new to that too. Obviously, in Texas, there's not a whole lot of trees you can get up into, but I liked the tethered system. So when I first got it, I had to go out, of course, just jumped in the tallest tree I could find. I only went up maybe 8 feet just to figure it out, and I used the Kong, quick, yeah, stay. I guess I don't know what you want to call it, but when you pull your line to move
Oh
up,
yeah,
right,
yeah.
which made a huge difference, just ease. But I'm short, and so I've been kind of thinking about getting a couple sticks just to get me to that maybe 5 foot, and then use my steps,
Mm-hmm.
afterwards, um, because you're limited by the obviously the steps and how high you can step up, right?
Yeah.
And so the key is to put them about knee level each rung,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can buy a kit so you can get 5 steps, 20 steps, whatever, which is kind of nice. Um, but what I first thing I did obviously was get up there and like flip over, because I'm like, I just want to know if I actually can fall out of this. So I
Yeah.
figured 8 feet might hurt, but hopefully it won't kill me, And so I just flipped over, and dude, I was amazed at how um, locked in you were, I guess. The
Mm-hmm.
fact that you can't fall out of those dudes. I mean, if you put it on right, right. But
Yeah.
I
Exactly.
mean, if you're locked in and locked on that tree, it's kind of cool. And the other thing I thought was really, really neat was, I don't know about your experience, but even practicing my shots out of that, it almost forces you to have good form, because you're automatically going to lean, at your torso when you pull. And so you kind of takes
Yeah.
that portion of the shot process out of the equation,
It kind of locks your hips exactly where they're at, so
Right.
you can't move. You have to kind of bend at the angle there, or at
Right.
the waist, to get that angle.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And so that was pretty interesting. So if anybody's out there that wants to try them, the other nice thing is tethered, specifically, they do different kind of road show trainings or whatever, and you can get on
Mm-hmm.
their website and go and kind of pick their brain and learn more about it, and try the saddles on, try their step, their platform, try that out, try their whole system. which is kind of cool. I mean, I been wanting to do that, but they don't come really down to the Austin area. I think they generally stick up around the Dallas Fort Worth kind of area.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool that a company has that kind of support and everything. And I've been wanting to try their stuff. I think the big thing is I just need to try to get up there more. It's like, with work and everything, day job, it's hard to try to find time to actually just get up there and go practice that, and there's a county park a little ways from me. A couple times I've gone down there and I'm all walking in there. There's like hikers walking in circles, and I'm over here like with the tree saddle on and this bag and all this stuff. And it's like, it's kind of like, I wonder what this guy's doing, like,
Right.
I need to like make a T-shirt that says like a tree service or something like that, so that they don't question it. When I'm climbing up this tree.
Right? Yeah, just scouting. Everything's good. It's fine.
One of the coolest pieces of equipment though I've got, man, that really just changed it for me. And some guys really say that they don't need it, but one thing that really changed it for me was having a platform up there. And I don't have a huge foot, but I've got like 11 shoe, or I think some boots I wear an 11 and a half. So, I got a pretty good sized foot. And like I say, I've got the Trophy Line Mission platform, which is one of the largest platforms on the market right now. But I just can't see, I don't know if you use a platform, but I can't see like anything smaller than that. I couldn't see that it being comfortable at all. Like I said, I have plenty of room to stand up, turn around, lean from side and all that stuff. And it's like just absolutely rock solid. I'm thinking about some of these smaller platforms, and Trophy Line makes a smaller platform as well. But I couldn't imagine thinking on anything smaller than that,
I don't have one. So they're, again, kind of using those steps. You build your platform around the tree, which goes back into how many steps you want to carry. I mean, they come in a nice sack. And so it's very intuitive just to pull it out and tie your next one on. But once you're up, then you can use, like 4 of them and tether together. So you literally can walk all the way around the tree. And so I don't have a big foot. I got a 9. So any of those platforms for me are going to be fine, but
that's one thing too, is I've started to look into more, is because I'm just kind of done with those steps, like as much as I can be. And so I want to look into doing some one sticking, where you literally just take one stick and just go out there with that. And one of the guys, from the Ultimator, contacted me, this guy named John, and he's going to send me a trial of their one sticking aid called the Ultimator, where basically it's like an aider that kind of folds up, it rolls up into a pouch, and then you basically just hook it on your step, and then you just undo this pouch and it drops out the aider, and you can basically use that and just have one stick going all the way up the tree.
Interesting.
But he's waiting on some he found a new supplier, because everything's hard to get nowadays, but he found a new supplier for the canvas, because the one he was using started using cheaper materials or something like that, or still coming from China or something. So he's like trying a new material that's US sourced, and so he's gonna let me know whenever that's finished. But I'm curious in getting that process. And I know that Trophy Line released what they call I think it's called the EDP platform, and it's basically like a stick and a platform in one. And the guy that commented yesterday on the channel during the live stream with me, you and Chris, the Privileged Bowhunter, he did a great video on that, on one sticking with that EDP platform. And although he also, I think, is new to the saddle hunting process, like he made that look pretty easy. So that's good. Something I need to try.
Now, do you take or have you, even doing your trials, did you take any of your filming gear with you, or is just too much?
Yeah, I did. And so that's another thing. So I'm that guy where I see something and I'm like, I could do that. I could make that, it's like, and unfortunately the archery industry and just hunting in general is rife with like all sorts of inventions, and so I'm like, man, somebody made that thing. Like, I bet you I could make that. And so one of the things is I made my own camera arm, and it's basically just out of some bolts and extruded the aluminum square bar, and cut that down, and I just threw a mount on top of it, and I was able to make the whole thing out of that from a video somebody posted on YouTube where they made their own, and it works pretty well. But I've got that, but that whole thing weighs probably about 5 pounds or so with the ball head on it and everything. I've got that, and then I'll bring my camera. I just have the right now I'm using the Canon M50. And this thing's pretty light. It's a mirrorless camera, so it's pretty light. It's the one I filmed stuff out at Total Archery Challenge with. But yeah, it was like I say, the camera gear is probably the most cumbersome of it all, because like snacks don't weigh a whole lot, and they can kind of fit into any contour in your bag. The saddle you're wearing, the sticks I can usually just walk in with them hanging off the side of my saddle. And I'm kind of a pack mule. I got a strong back, well, I got a narrowing in my T-spine, but other than that, I got a strong back, and I don't mind carrying a little bit heavier gear. Like some people, like when they're going saddle hunting, they're like every ounce. It's like, dude, I'm not hiking 6 miles in to go saddle hunting. I'm just going maybe maybe at the most a mile or something like that, or half a mile or something like that. So I can carry a few more pounds or a few more ounces for that. But the thing that's awkward about camera gear is you've got even the small tripods are long, and they're just kind of awkward to stick in a bag. And so I've also got this carbon fiber tripod I love here. This thing was again, I'm a budget shopper too. This is in Amazon, some company called Newer. I don't know. But the thing I like about this too is it's actually one of the legs comes off, and now you got a monopod. So if you're like out glassing or something like that, you can use this, put it on your binoculars, and you got a monopod there. So you can use it for your camera or for like I said, glassing, stuff like that. So really cool tripod, but
it's a great selfie stick.
Yeah, exactly. But anyways, yeah. So it's like I said, I think camera gear is like one of the hardest things, and filming hunts is just, it's still something I'm trying to figure out to do. And that's why I'm really excited about that GoPro Max that I used at the Total Archery Challenge, because it could film everything for me, and then I can just cut the video from that, and that makes life so much easier. And I'm really excited to start that process. So.
Well,
so you started your own. So you started your own channel too. So you're starting to get into this as well, this filming stuff.
Well, yeah, it's like I've got a video, right? My introduction video. So, but yeah, I think kind of getting into that wormhole. I'm gonna obviously learn from your mistakes of what I need and don't need, and it just seems nowadays you got your phone with you, and so the video quality on your phone in 4K is amazing. And I am an ounce counter, and so if I don't have to have all the the camera or the video recorder or whatever, obviously you always have your phone. So if I can figure that out and just use that, that's that's going to be the route I go, and then figuring out how to edit. If I even edit, I may not even do that. I'm just going to throw it up there, and it is what it is. And
exactly.
If we don't like it, fine, whatever. But
and that's part of the struggle I've had too. Is just like how much time and effort do I have, or can I invest into this? You know what I mean? It's like, I'm fine investing plenty of money in it. I mean, I get a lot of rewards and stuff, and I get a little bit from like work and stuff like that when we kind of get like little attaboys where it's like, oh, here's $100, go get a gift card to wherever you want. And I got things like this little camera gimbal for my phone, where it's like a stabilizer, and so I can do all that stuff with it, and it's like perfectly level, but like I said, to your point though, man, it's a rabbit hole to go down to. But the great thing is like I say, you've got the phone in your pocket. And dude, some of these phones these days, like especially like the real pro level Androids, and which that's what I'm doing this on right now, streaming on my Android phone. But pro level Androids and like the high end iPhones and stuff like that have just like absolutely amazing cameras on them. And I know there's like a channel, a guy named Texas Jungle. Everything he does is filmed on either a GoPro or is like iPhone 11 Pro Max or whatever, iPhone 12 Pro Max, And so it's like you really don't need to invest too much money into it these days. If you just learn how to use that tool that you've got to its fullest, then you can get great results with it.
Yeah, I was telling you before we got on here live that I had ordered the Black Ovis. I think it's the Treeline Carbon tripod that is designed for sitting and glassing and what have you. But the Chotsky that comes with it, which was brilliant, and it's probably the best thing about it, is it comes with this little itty bitty remote control that syncs right to your phone, right? And and so you can snap your phone on that tripod, get your pictures, take your video, what have you, you already got the tripod anyway, right? Because you're going to glass or put your binos on it.
Yep.
And so it was a no-brainer. And again, it weighs like nothing, and it's tiny. And so for me, I think that's probably the route that I'm going to go, is just turn the phone around, and it is what it is, because I know, when we did that deer hunt and you filmed it, that was the first time that I had been filmed or with anybody that filmed a hunt. And so to see that in slow motion and watch that shot, and, that was just very cool. So that definitely sparked an interest for me,
And I think not only is it's just fun to kind of do, and it's its own little challenge, amongst everything else that you have to do while you're hunting, especially bow hunting. It's its own little challenge, but it's also valuable in the sense that, like, how do you know that shot? Like, sometimes, when you're the adrenaline's running and you pull that shot goes off, like, how do you really know if it landed good? Like, it feels good sometimes, but then you watch the footage back and you'd be like, oh my God, like that. I did that one time. I was on this, just hunting at my dad's place. And I just had a single camera out there, and I fired the shot off, and like, okay, that shot broke clean and everything, and, but I didn't realize it, but it had, until I started reviewing the footage and everything, that basically it had hit a part of that blind as I was coming out. Like it was shot a little bit low, and it clipped the window, and it sent it flying off, and it hit the deer in the back leg. So I had this deer. I let it run around for a little while, and I ended up following it up the mountain. I could see it, this little glowing knock dancing on the mountain. And yeah, I hit it in the back leg. And God, I felt terrible. And it had actually, I think what had happened is it skipped off the ground and bounced and hit it in the leg. And yeah, it was just, I felt so terrible. But anyways, yeah, it was bad shot, and I ended up finding it later, and it took off running through the woods, and that the arrow dropped out and everything. I was able to get it back. But yeah, man, it's just, being able to film that and see that and rewind, and is pretty important. I think.
Well, it's like the first time I went muzzleloader hunting, I wasn't filming, obviously, but speaking of not being able to know if you actually had a good shot or not, I had no idea. Like I squeezed the round off and thought it was perfect. The deer did the whole jump thing when it gets hit, and it was gone. Problem was that all the powder obscured my view, so I had no idea. So then it just, at that point, waited probably 20 minutes and started tracking to try to find blood, right? Like and so maybe at that point, having a video, I could have scrolled it back to see, was it a good shot? Did I, miss him completely? Which I think is actually what happened, because we never did find it. Or was it just flat out a bad shot, and we couldn't track it, So it certainly comes in handy for sure.
Yeah. Any update from Ryan yet?
No.
It's like sometimes it's hard to get people to schedule, get on the podcast, get time to, pull away from everything else they're doing, and Dean was able to get in contact with Ryan from people that he knew on through work, and like I say, he was able to find some time to pull away to join the podcast here. Unfortunately, like I said, it seems like he may not be able to jump on after all, but maybe we can make it up and do it another time. So I'll have to change the name of the stream to Chatting with Dean.
Right.
Yeah.
About video.
Yeah. About film and hunts. Yeah.
Yeah. But we kind of talked about that too. So before we went live, kind of going with some wireless mics. I think that would be kind of, to your point, being able to have, two of us, during a hunt, be able to really capture, all, talking and whispering and, what have you. I think that'd make a pretty cool video.
I've made kind of like a unspoken promise to the people that, that watch this channel, that if I ever do hunting videos, I promise I'm not going to whisper. Because I swear, my family, every time I turn on a hunting video and you hear the guys like, okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to try to sneak up.
Right.
It's like, what is this ASMR? Like, it sounds like they're licking the mic and stuff.
Right.
Like, I'm never going to whisper. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do just like real low, deep, like monotone, like, all right, guys, what we're going to do here. Sound like try to do like my best, like Batman or something.
Right. Yeah.
What we're going to do is 10 yards. shoot this motherfucker 120.
Right. Right. So is there anything else that we had talked about? You strictly are pretty much a archery guy. Have you gotten into anything else? I know we talked about doing some duck hunting this coming year.
Yeah, my thing is I want to do it all. Like, it just kind of happens that like, well, I mean, I enjoy archery hunting the best. It's just it's a whole
Mhm.
different game.
Yeah.
And I know I don't have to tell you that or anybody that's watching that's an archery hunter, but it's like bow hunting is like there's like something about just kind of like leveling the playing field between you and the animal that just it changes the game totally, and it makes it so much more adrenaline inducing. Also, at the same time, it makes it more stressful and just more chaotic. But at the same time, it's so much more fun. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But that being said, like, the opposite of that would be kind of like duck hunting, where you kind of just sitting there shooting the shit, drinking beer. And you kind of just like, oh, just like duck down, make sure the ducks don't see you. You pop up, bam, 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 bam. And
Yeah.
that seems like a blast as well. Well, got another guest star again. So they keep circling back.
Yeah.
But the Black Panther. But, anyways,
I had to close the door so the dogs wouldn't roll up in here and see what's happening.
Oh yeah, my office is in the game room up here. That's where I got everything set up here. So it's like I got stairs to my right, and then 2 rooms over here. And animals just kind of walk up. My dog was whining earlier, and he's over there pouting on the stairs now, looking out the front door.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's funny.
But yeah, man, I need to go duck hunting. I'm saying I feel like I have no excuse for it because I've got 2 cousins that are fishing and duck hunting guides and stuff like that. It's his name is Chase Odom if you look him up on like Instagram and stuff like that. But like I said, I have no excuse for it. And he last time I talked to him, I was like, hey man, I was like, next time you go duck hunting, let me know. I was like, I'll pay you, come out there. And he's like, oh man, we'll let you know. Well, then him and his brother, my 2 cousins are that are both into it. They also work like oil jobs, so they'll be like on shutdowns, and they're like traveling all over the state and stuff. So it's like hard for them to find time to do it. But yeah, man, we need to go duck hunting because that just sounds like a blast. I've got the gear. I've got I just used a 20 gauge. I've got a 12 gauge of my brother's I could borrow too if I need to, but I've got a 20 gauge that I like to use because I can hold a lot of rounds in it. I can blast them off pretty quick. So
yeah, it's besides archery, you start getting down these, all these different ways to hunt: archery and muzzleloader and rifle and shotguns and yada. I mean, over and unders. I mean, it just goes crazy. And I was telling my wife, I'm like, that's it. Like about 2 years ago, I said, I'm done. I don't mind rifle hunting. I don't mind muzzleloader. I mean, all that is fun. I'll do it for sure. But it was mastering nothing. And so I thought, this time, this is it. I'm gonna focus on archery and ducks, and that's it. And if anything else falls in my lap, then great. If not, great.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. That's kind of my focus too. Is like I have these things that I prioritize, but if an opportunity comes up to do, rifle deer season, it's like, yeah, I'm going to take that, And if I get down to the wire where I'm like, okay, I've still got tags in my pocket, like I did last year, still got tags in my pocket, and I'm not having any luck doing with the bow. Yeah, just to put the meat in the freezer, I'm going to pull out the rifle. That's really at the end of it. I'm here for the experience. I'm here for the conservation part of it, but I'm also here for the meat in the freezer. That's the biggest part for me.
Yeah, I think that you bring up a good point too. I think both of us have that same mindset that we're just freezer fillers. If I get a trophy, that's great, but when I go out, that's not my intention, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like my intention is to fill my freezer, and that's just kind of how I roll. I mean, I know there's I don't think there's nothing wrong with the trophy guys. That's do you. Like I'm not going to pass up on a big 10 point. For sure. But, if I'm sitting there all day, I'm going to take on the first day what I'd take on the last. And so, it is what it is. And talking about you hitting your window and your blind. So on my property, I don't have any bucks. We just got does running around all the time, and which is fine. And they're little girls, but they taste great. And so it is what it's that totally came out wrong. I'm talking about venison. Okay. For anybody that's listening,
the groomer,
don't be going crazy on the comments, for crying out loud.
Oh geez.
But I was in my tripod. I just moved it. and into this, kind of opening. You've been at my place, that big opening by the kind of the driveway in the front of the property there. And I knew that they always come out for whatever reason, when they come to my feeder, it's right before, the last bit of shooting light. And so I knew that going in, and sure enough, 3 does, hop over the fence. They're walking on the driveway, and I had ranged my fence. So I kind of knew it was about 33 yards, and they were tiny. And I'm like, you know what? I'm passing, they're just too small. Would let them go on their way. Well, one turns around and comes back. And I'm like, well, now you got to die. Like, I gave you one opportunity, and you came back. So now you're done.
Yeah.
So I drew back. I didn't re-range. I kind of was thinking, that's about 33. Didn't re-range. Drew back. She reaches kind of the corner of my shooting lane, and I launched it. And I had her dead to right. She was quartered away, and it hit one little branch off a tree that I didn't see. And of course, sheared it up. Of course, then she ducked and went right over her back, and she was gone. And so I immediately jumped in the truck and ran to the hardware store and got one of those long tree trimmers, dude, and like cut that branch. I'm like, that is never going to happen again.
You're still in full camo. And you got your bow on your back.
100%. Yes, yeah. Like, this is not going to happen again. Like that is gone. I don't even care if it kills the tree. Like the whole thing is out of here.
The whole thing. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Right. Not gonna let you fool me twice.
Yeah. You live for one more day. Like, you got 2 passes, but now she's on my radar. I can't wait for her to come back, because she will die. So
it's good eating right there.
Yeah.
I gotta watch what you say there, though, man.
Yeah, right. Like,
young girls taste good.
Right.
Deer. We're talking about
deer, venison. Okay, like, we don't need weird comments going on.
Oh man. So it brings up a fun thing about like I say, doing this live stream thing. And man, we had somebody jump up in there and make a comment on the stream, and it was like somebody spamming some stupid shit, but it was something like that, man. So it's like, I've got so much going on my computer right here. I've got you got the windows up here, showing me and Dean and the thing, and then I've got the comments over here on the side, which we've got another one here from Mike. What's up, Mike? And man, it's a lot going on here. trying to manage and make sure that nobody, while we're talking, that nobody's over here doing this, and then waiting for Ryan, if he's ever gonna be able to jump in here, to jump in and add him into the studio once he comes in. There's a lot going on here. So I'm like, if you see me doing stuff and typing, I'm just trying to keep up with all this. So Mike said true conservation is when you keep that will it fit in my freezer mind when pulling the trigger.
100%.
That's right, man. That's 100%.
Yeah. He's he travels around and was doing some I think some fly fishing and fishing videos that he was uploading, which is really cool. I'm very jealous of his gig. And so you basically can find out where the best places to go, fishing if you're in a certain area, and watch some of his stuff. So he's got some great stuff. Good dude.
Yeah. And that's something I need to get back into, man, too, is doing some more fishing, because I love fishing and having a good time with that. And again, I have no excuse, man. My uncle, the father of the cousins that do the guide service stuff, he used to be a guide himself down in Rockport. He does a fishing guide out there, and he actually has his own custom lures that he makes. It's called Custom Corky is one of them, and then his I don't know, him or his son, they manage another one called Texas Custom Lures. But they take like the Paul Brown Fat Boy, like redfish lures and stuff like that, and drum lures, and they do like custom paint jobs on them and stuff, because apparently like the bigger fish like that, they aren't colorblind like a lot of fish are. They don't just see like that one monochrome or whatever. So, but they say supposedly it helps. But anyways, I need to get into that with some more of that. I've got some of those lures I need to go throw out there and do some more fishing. I just bought a couple of surf rods a couple of months ago. Took a stepson out there fishing down in Galveston, and need to get some more of that.
It's fun. I mean, I like fly fishing. I'm not any good at it at all, but it's just so relaxing to be out there, and I just like it better because it's more active, right? Like, again, I'll go deep sea fishing. I mean, I went fly fishing for sharks and caught 7 blues. I mean, it was a blast. That was the first time I'd ever been out, in an ocean, and let alone fishing for sharks, right? And that was a lot of fun. if anybody has a chance to do that, I highly recommend it. It's a great time, and you're just renting, the boat. So the key is to get, 4 or 5 of your buddies or husbands and wives, whatever, and rent the boat and go, and everybody save some coin, and you have an absolute blast when you get out. And it's catch and release. It was a lot of fun. Glad I did it.
Yeah,
for sure.
And I went. Me and the wife took a trip to Oregon, and I went trying to fly fish on the Willamette River out there, and we tried like 2 or 3 different spots. Man, that river was just it was flowing too much, but I still enjoy the process. Just that cold water, just perfect. Well, the middle of July in freaking Oregon, and it was like 70 degrees outside during the highest point of the day. It was just gorgeous. I absolutely loved every second of that, even though I probably had zero hopes of actually catching a fish. The fly fishing was it's just like you said, it's relaxing. It's just that it's like it's kind of tossing it out there, just flicking. It's like like I said, it's a lot more active process. Which fishing on like a spinning rod too is kind of an active process if you're doing it right too, because you got to kind of mimic whatever bait you've got out there and all that stuff. But
we've done a couple trips. Did the McKenzie River up there in Oregon as well, and literally it was a buddy of mine, it was my boss, and we went out, and there was nobody out there. I mean, it was just unbelievable. The scenery was fantastic. And then up in Vail, same thing. Did some fly fishing along it's called the Ladders, and it was during the winter. And so they said the biggest thing you have to watch out for were these ice bridges. And like, what's an ice? What are you talking about? And he said, always look upstream because people die and because they drown because the ice breaks off and floats down and takes them out and they're not paying attention. And so you just have to watch upriver constantly. But it was a fun experience. You'd cast your line out and then you'd come back in and it'd be frozen. So you're constantly cleaning the ice off as you're casting, but it was a great time, if you like. I like being cold and miserable. And so hence the duck hunting and, whatever. But so if you don't like that, probably wouldn't suggest it. But if you like just to be just freezing and having a great time and ice in your beard, highly recommend it. So
it's like I said, definitely got to do some duck hunting this year. Pretty much missed turkey season out here. I was really excited about that, but I was just, like I said, I've been swamped with work and the day job, so I didn't get to do that. But there's always a fall turkey season, so we got that coming. Like I say, you guys, you and Chris for sure are going on that elk hunt in September.
August.
Okay.
Yeah. So 18 through 26. Okay. So it's opening week for archery going up there. So I hope you can break away and go with us. I think it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I hope so, man. That'll be good. I gotta check that out because my son was born August 14th, so his birthday is right there. Yeah. So we'll see what the life lets us. But I'll ask for forgiveness maybe, but not permission. We'll see.
It's birthday month, so it doesn't matter what day you celebrate it.
There you go. That's exactly it. Yeah.
It's all I wanted for your birthday, son, is to go elk hunting.
I want to leave you and go into the mountains with my friends. Yeah.
Right.
Go do some hood rat shit with my friends.
Yeah. But anyway, well, good stuff, buddy. I guess. I text Ryan. We'll try to reschedule.
We'll see if we can do it later this week. I'm open all this week, so we'll see.
Yeah, same.
Reschedule Tim. We'll change this to the stream of just shooting the shit with Dean again. We did that yesterday, guys, and if y'all are watching, go check out the past live streams that we've done. You can check them all out in the channel there. Like I said, as soon as we finish up here, which is like a minute or two, this thing will be posted on there so you can tune and view it. We've got about 6 people watching across different platforms right now. So we've got people right now. We are simultaneously streaming to Facebook, the YouTube, and Twitch too. So I'm trying to bring outdoors content to Twitch because I don't think there's any right now. I think there's like one guy that does like knife making between playing games or something like that. So go check it out on Twitch. Check it out. Like I say, I sign up everywhere. We'll tune in for the next podcast. We got some more coming this week. Later tonight, we're going to be talking with the guys from C&E Custom Outdoors Gear. We ran into those guys at TAC and had a good time catching up with them and asking questions about arrows and stuff. Dean, do you want to go into that a little bit so we can prepare everybody for what's going on later?
Yeah, so they're great guys. It's Chris and Elvis, and they're down south of Houston. I think somewhat close to you. I don't know how far away they are.
30 minutes from me or so.
And they, I talked to Chris a little bit on the phone. They are part of Cirrus Archery, which I thought was great. But they're just two guys that, kind of like us, that decided, what, we're going to open this little shop. And they call it the biggest little archery shop in Texas. And they just started building arrows. So I'm looking forward to getting more information out of it. But essentially, you kind of call them and tell them your draw weight, your length of arrows that you want, and kind of what you're looking for. And they've got this algorithm that they use. I think it's a paid app or something. I'm not sure exactly. I'll find out some more tonight, but they custom build your arrows for you. However, I know that they did say they like to do it more in person, so that when you leave, you're 100% tuned, they're flying right, and you can walk out and you're ready to go. But that'll be cool to get more information from them as well, because I think once we're done with the conversation, I'm gonna see if I can get some half arrow or half a dozen arrows made. Just one, shoot them some business, and two, just to kind of see how they turn out and how they work in my setup. So that'll be fun. And then outside of that, since we're coming to an end, at the beginning we kind of said that I started doing my own show. So it's Lung Crusher 53. Literally one video went up yesterday. Check it out. It's like an introduction and a very simple overview of the Mountain Tough program. But that said, I'm going to be trying to do just strictly kind of gear, bags, that kind of stuff, quick, easy reviews of what I have, and kind of help you guys make a better decision. So if there's something you want to see or don't want to see, or what I'm doing wrong, fire a comment, reach out, let me know. But it'll be fun just to check it out and see what happens.
Yeah. I'm I think your first subscriber, Dean.
First subscriber, yeah. So
it always starts with one, man.
It's got to start somewhere. Exactly. Yeah. Just start where you're at. It's all good.
Yeah. But yeah, to everybody watching, guys, like I say, if you see it down below, also we got a discount code for Easy Vein scrolling across the screen there this whole time. And like I say, we also got the Apex Predator Outdoors store. You can go check out. Like I say, we've got all sorts of anchor rings. We've got target pins, things like that. I'm just trying to grow this short. We used to have some nose buttons too, which I've got boxes and boxes full of nose buttons here, but unfortunately, thanks to Josh Bomar, we can't sell those anymore.
Yeah. So they're free. They're if you buy something, you get a nose button for free.
Yeah, right. I need to put a back door to that. Yeah. So,
and then the other thing, guys, too, just to leave, if you like the Smash or Pass, we're kind of trying to get some feedback on that name. We love it. It's just. Travis splurted it out there at TAC, and I'm like, that's it. That is definitely the podcast show. It was perfect.
So. Yeah, I can't even. I got that on video too. Whenever we were planning that out, we all started laughing our asses off. We're like, oh, dude, that's perfect.
Yeah, it was the best. It was the best.
Yeah. So yeah, guys, other videos coming on the way. We've got a video about Total Archery Challenge coming. I got to edit a lot of video on that, but we're getting close. So I'm getting about 50% point on that. I've got a bunch of small reviews. I'm going to start a series of just like 2-minute reviews on simple things. Like I just bought a pocket quiver for Total Archery Challenge, and I need to do the review on that. Do some follow-up stuff. I got a lot of stuff in the pipe, just trying to find time to get everything posted. But thank you all for watching. Be sure to make sure you subscribe to the channel so we can keep bringing you more of this content. Also, go and share this video with friends, because that's how we really grow the channel, is go and commenting on the videos, like I say, sharing it with people so you can get more people to view it. And like I said, that word of mouth is really just helps us grow the channel and just make everything better. Better, more. It allows me to justify spending more time doing this. So thanks, guys, for watching, and keep defying the odds as always, guys.
Thanks, guys.